It has been few days that I'm using this DJI Action 4 and I already found some pros and cons about this camera. Let's talk about them. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm Photorabs. I do videos about photography, filmmaking, camera tech related reviews, action cams, vlogging kits and so on. If you're interested, I highly recommend you to go subscribe to my channel. That's a massive help. And now let's talk about this DJI Action 4 that was released on August the 2nd. I was not expecting this at all. I was in the summer vacation, during my summer vacation in Lebanon with my family, and DJI released this camera. I ordered it directly and I got it when I got back home a few days ago to France, and I've been using this camera since the day I got it, and I'm very satisfied with it. The image quality, the overall usability of this camera is amazing. I found some pros and cons about this camera. I decided to share them with you in this video. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. I bought the DJI Action 4 with my own money. So if you would like to support my channel, you can be a member and a supporter for less than the price of one coffee per month, less than €2. You can be a supporter for my channel. That's a massive help. And you can buy your products, your photography and videography products using my affiliate links. That's a massive help as well for my channel. And by the way, this is not a review, a full review about this camera. This is my first thoughts about it, the first pros and cons that I found on this camera after using it for a few days. So be aware, it's not a full review. I'll be making another full review about this camera very soon on my channel, whenever I can have more time to use it, to test it out and to figure out all the cons, all the pros of this one. First, let us talk a little bit about the pros of this one. I really loved it, by the way. Since the day I got it, I'm very satisfied with this camera. It's in focus, the main thing that I checked when I got this camera. It's in focus. I really loved it. It's a very good camera, very well built. I loved everything about it. And let's talk a little bit about some pros. First, we noticed that on this camera, we have a bigger sensor, 1/1.3 inches, comparing to 1/1.7 inches on the older version on the DJI Action 3. That means that we have 30% a bigger sensor in this one, allowing for a wider dynamic range, for a better low light capability, for a better image quality, overall image quality, for a better color management as well. And this is something very important on this DJI Action 4. It's the main improvement and the most important improvement that they made on this DJI comparing to the DJI Action 3. On this DJI Action 4 we have lots of new improvements, lots of firmware improvements, such as we can adjust now the sharpness of the footages. We can go from low to medium to high sharpness on the footages coming out from this DJI Action 4. I noticed that the main rushes that I took with this DJI Action 4 without adjusting any of the levels of the sharpness were too sharp. I have to reduce that a little bit in order to have the look that I want for my footages. And we have lots of enhancement mode, whether for low light or for portraits or for other scenes and scenarios. That's something very important on this DJI Action 4 as well. We have the D-Log M as a flat profile on this DJI Action 4, which is much more flatter than the D-Cine-like on the DJI Action 3, allowing for a better color grading experience if you want to color grade our footages on post-production. I believe that when we use an action camera, we don't need to color grade. We need great footages coming out directly from the camera. But if you want to color grade, with the D-Log M, we have lots of room to play with the color grading on this camera. The onboard recording of this camera is amazing, even in some windy situations. You can check my previous video, or I'll put the link in the description below. You can check it out. The audio was really good from this camera, and we can connect any wireless microphone, any transmitter via USB-C on this side. That's something amazing on the DJI products. I'm really loving it. And the overall user experience and the smoothness and the responsiveness of the LCD screen is remarkable on this DJI Action 4. It was the same case on the DJI Action 3. I'm very satisfied with it. It's something that I wish that all the other camera manufacturers, whether Fujifilm, Canon, Sony, Nikon, GoPro, can learn from DJI how to make a very responsive screen like this one. And there is something that is very important, is that the form factor of the DJI Action 4 is the same as the DJI Action 3. They have the same dimensions, the same weight, everything looks similar except of the filter, of the lens filters, but everything else is very identical, very similar. So we can use all the accessories that we have for the DJI Action 3 if we had the DJI Action 3 on this DJI Action 4, and that's something that I really appreciate, because we do not need to spend more money on new accessories. We can use the same old accessories that we have if we have the DJI Action 3, of course. I have the cage from PGY Tech that I can use. I have some accessories, some mounting accessories, they are all the same. That's something that I really appreciate on this new design, on this new DJI Action 4 that has the same design, the same form factor as the DJI Action 3. So far I'm very satisfied with this DJI Action 4, but don't get me wrong, it has lots of flaws. I already found 6 of them. I would like to share them with you, but this is a very good camera. If you haven't got an action camera yet and you'd like to invest in an action camera, this one I highly recommend it. You have everything you need, good image quality, amazing image quality, great audio quality as well. What else you need in an action camera? Now let's talk a little bit about the flaws of this one. Although we don't have focusing issues on this camera, but the minimum focusing distance is 40 centimeters and we are used to 30 centimeters or less for action cameras. So this 40 centimeters might be good for vlogging. I didn't have any issues while vlogging with this camera, but I'm not sure it's gonna be the perfect focusing distance, minimum focusing distance for action shots, for action rushes, especially if we mount it on the hat like this and we need some top-down view. It's not gonna be very ideal, I believe. Let's wait and see, and I would love to try it out and show you some footages later on probably. And since this camera shares the same form factor as the DJI Action 3, I can use the batteries of the DJI Action 3 in this one. This is what I'm using now, by the way. I haven't charged the battery of the Action 4 so far. So I noticed that the lifetime of the battery is not the same on this one and on the DJI Action 3. It does not last so long on this one, and that can be explained by the bigger sensor inside of this one that will pump more power from the battery than the sensor in the DJI Action 3. And I wish that DJI will release new batteries with the same form factor as well as this one, but with higher capacity that can help us use this camera for a longer time. Another major flaw that I found on this one is that we do not have the 360 horizon balancing in 4K. We have it only in 2.7K, which is not bad, by the way, but since we had the same thing in the DJI Action 3, I was wondering why we do not have the 4K 360 horizon balancing in this one, and I would like DJI to answer this question, whether they will release a firmware update in order to add this feature to this camera or not. I'll be very interested to try it out if we will have it one day on this camera, but so far the 2.7K 360 horizon balancing is not that bad at all. It's something very interesting to have, but I know that with the GoPro we have it in the 4K mode. I wish we have it also on this DJI Action 4. On this camera we do not have the tap to expose. I wish we had the tap to expose, because when I tried it on the DJI Mini 3 Pro it was amazing. It was very handy, very useful. I wish we had it on this one, but we do not. So far we do not have the tap to expose or tap to focus on this camera. I wish we will have them in the future generation of the action cameras from DJI, because I really love the color science and the color management of the footages from the DJI products, much more than the footages on the GoPro side. But I wish we had this option on this camera. And we cannot connect a wireless microphone to the camera without connecting the transmitter to the camera itself. I was wondering if it will have something like the DJI Pocket 2, the do-it-all handle that we used on the DJI Pocket 2, and then we can connect a wireless microphone, the DJI wireless mic, to the do-it-all handle directly. I wish we had something like that on this one, but no, unfortunately we do not have it. We have to connect via USB-C the transmitter, and then we can use the wireless microphone. We cannot do it without the transmitter. That was something that I wish we had on this camera as well. And the last thing I would like to talk about in this video is the price. 429 euros for the standalone version is a bit too much for this camera, comparing to 359 euros for a new DJI Action 3, and you can have a used one now for a bit cheaper than that. And it's a good camera as well. It's a very good camera, especially that DJI has repaired the focusing issues on the DJI Action 3. I cannot explain the 70 euros more on this camera comparing to the DJI Action 3, even if the sensor is a bit bigger, but the price is a lot comparing to an action camera. I think that GoPro will do a better job this time by releasing their two cameras. I believe one is gonna be a bit more expensive than that because it's gonna have the 1-inch sensor, and one is gonna be cheaper than the DJI Action 4. So I think that DJI should review their price before the release of the new GoPro in order to stay in the market, in order to stay competitive in this market. So that was it for today's video. It's not a full review about the DJI Action 4. These were my pros and cons that I found on this camera. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done it. Check my affiliate links in the description below. I have lots of great deals on photography and videography products, and you can help the channel a lot by buying from my affiliate links. That's a massive help, and thank you for watching. See you on another one. Ciao for now.